Making headlines, First Lady Sajda stressed on the importance of climate-resilient agriculture for the Maldives. Minister Maria notes that engaging more youth in the agricultural sector is essential for sustainable and modern development. And Minister Adam Sharif assures focus on finding ways to increase public involvement in council decision-making at the OGP meeting.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to PSM News in English with me, Hafiz Abdul Sattar. And now the news in detail. First Lady Sajida Mohammed stressed the importance of climate-resilient agriculture for the Maldives.
Speaking during Climate Resilient Agriculture for Food Security in the Maldives conference, jointly organized by the Maldives National University MNU and the Islamic Organization for Food Security IOFS, First Lady Sajda Mohammed noted that Maldives imports 90% of the food it consumes. The First Lady highlighted that the crippling of the global supply chains during COVID-19 pandemic laid bare the significance of ensuring food security in the Maldives. However, she also noted the numerous challenges faced by local farmers due to climate change, such as global warming and high salinity in groundwater of most islands. The First Lady insisted that the Maldives needs to find ways to overcome such climate change-related challenges to establish a climate-resilient agricultural system. Highlighting the present difficulties faced by local farmers to market and supply their produce, First Lady Sajda also stressed on the need to find solutions to such challenges in order to ensure sustainable agricultural practices. The First Lady said that the President Dr. Mohamed Musa's ambitious initiative to plant 5 million trees during his term is a testament to his commitment to ensuring food security in the Maldives by enhancing its agricultural sector. The Asian Development Bank (ADB) has provided $21.95 million in financial assistance to the Maldives to ensure food security in the country. This program aims to introduce climate-smart urban farming to the Maldives and teach its techniques to farmers in Ha Alif Atoll and Addu City.
The Minister of Agriculture and Animal Welfare, Dr. Mariam Maria, notes that engaging more youth in the agricultural sector is essential for sustainable and modern development.
Speaking at the opening ceremony of the Conference on Climate-Resilient Agriculture for Food Security, jointly organized by the Maldives National University MNU and the Islamic Organization for Food Security IOFS, Minister Maria outlined the administration's extensive efforts to advance the agricultural sector. She identified several obstacles, particularly in the outer islands, including a lack of technical knowledge and information necessary for development. According to her, additional challenges involve securing essential resources, obtaining financial support, transporting produce, and accessing markets. Minister Maria stated that the agricultural sector contributes 1.2% to the country's GDP. She noted that out of 7,600 registered farmers in the country, only 6.9% are youth. The minister said that the sustainable development of the agricultural sector, substantial efforts are required as 90% of the country's food is important. The conference on climate-resilient agriculture for food security is held from 3rd to 4th February. Its primary aim is to enhance the nation's resilience to climate change through the promotion of climate-smart agricultural practices, thereby ensuring a stable food supply. According to the organizers, the event also facilitates academic discussions focused on identifying and addressing challenges faced by the agricultural sector. The conference brings together officials from MNU and IOFS alongside technical experts and students specializing in agriculture and farming. Organizers indicate that the research papers and discussions from the conference will be shared with policymakers in relevant government agencies. The opening ceremony was also attended by Minister of Tourism and Environment Tariq Ibrahim and Minister of Fisheries and Ocean Resources Ahmad Shiam.
Minister for Cities, Local Government and Public Works, Adam Sharif Umar, says that Maldives will place a special emphasis on identifying ways to increase the involvement of people in the decision-making process of the country's local councils during the Open Government Partnership (OGP) meeting.
Speaking to the media prior to his departure to the Philippines to attend this year's Open Government Partnership (OGP) meeting, Minister Adam Sharif said the participants will discuss transparency, sustainable development, increased participation in council decisions, and good governance through the decentralized system of governance. He said that the meeting will also shed light on the successful implementation of decentralization in various countries and identify ways to bring about such changes in the Maldives. The minister said he would give special focus to identify ways to increase the people's involvement in the decision-making process of local councils during the meeting. The OGP was formed in 2011 by governments and civil society organizations seeking new ways of working together to address difficult challenges.
Maldives Monetary Authority (MMA) figures show that the Maldives recorded a decent uptick in tourism occupancy rate last year in comparison to 2023.
According to MMA's monthly statistics report, the world-renowned holiday destination posted an occupancy rate in 2024 in contrast to the year before. Maldives had a 57.6% occupancy rate in 2023 across its tourist establishment, which increased 59.1% in 2024. According to the MMA report, tourist resorts were the biggest contributor to the uptick in the occupancy rate last year. In 2023, the occupancy rate of resorts was at 66.3%, but in 2024, the figure rose to 71.2%. The occupancy rate of safari vessels also increased last year from 23.5% in 2023 to 26.3% 1 year after. However, occupancy rates of guest houses and tourist hotels recorded a decline last year. The occupancy rate of guest houses in 2023 was 42.7%, but had dropped to 35% last year. Tourist hotels also followed a similar trend, with the 35% occupancy in 2023 dropping down to 28.4% in 2024. According to the MMA report, a total of 61,739 beds were operated in the Maldives last year, which is an increase of 177 beds compared to the previous year.
The Maldives Marketing and Public Relations Corporation (MMPRC), the country's leading tourism promotion board, has set an ambitious target to attract over 300,000 tourists from India in 2025. This initiative aims to bolster the nation's tourism sector, which has experienced a significant growth in Indian arrivals since 2019.
Indian tourists have consistently ranked among the Maldives' top source markets from 2020 to 2023. The Maldives welcomed 62,690 Indian tourists in 2020, with the number surging to 291,787 in 2021. However, this upward trend reversed in subsequent years, with Indian arrivals dropping to 241,361 in 2022 and 209,100 in 2023. By 2024, the number further decreased to 130,328 Indian tourists. To counter this decline, the MMPRC has implemented a comprehensive strategy to rejuvenate Indian tourist arrivals, including targeted marketing campaigns and tourism promotions within India. Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director of MMPRC, Ibrahim Shuri, stated that India is a vital market for Maldivian tourism. MMPRC stated that it has launched several strategic marketing initiatives to achieve the goal of attracting over 300 Indian tourists this year. These efforts include an upcoming summer campaign, collaborations with major Indian airlines, and partnerships with leading tour operators. As the Maldives continues to draw Indian travelers, the MMPRC stated it is dedicated to curating unique experiences and strengthening partnerships to sustain the growth trajectory of Indian arrivals. According to the Ministry of Tourism and Environment, 10,518 Indian tourists have visited the Maldives thus far in 2025. India currently ranks 6th among the top tourism source markets.
Cryptocurrency prices slid with Bitcoin at a 3-week low as the specter of a global trade war put investors on edge and pushed them out of risky assets.
Bitcoin, the world's biggest and best-known crypto, fell to $94,476.18 on Monday morning in Asia, touching a 3-week low of around $91,441.89.
This is a new golden age for Bitcoin. And I think when you look at what's happening in the Beltway under Trump, you're going to have a deregulatory environment, which is a huge positive. And also, this is part of a risk-on environment that we're seeing not just for tech stocks, but for Bitcoin still in the early days of playing out.
Over the weekend, U.S. President Donald Trump imposed 25% tariffs on Mexican and most Canadian imports and 10% on goods from China starting on February 4th. Canada and Mexico, the top two U.S. trading partners, immediately vowed retaliatory measures, and China said it would challenge Trump's levies at the World Trade Organization. Cryptocurrencies trade around the clock, including on weekends, and have lately been sensitive to markets' broader sentiment. Investors worry that tariffs can hurt growth and company earnings, as well as be inflationary.
Asian stock markets slump as U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs trigger fears of abroad trade.
Asian stock markets slumped on Monday after U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs on Canada, Mexico and China triggered fears of a broad trade war and hit global growth. Hong Kong's benchmark Hang Seng Index opened down 2% at 19,816 points at 9:47 a.m. China's mainland markets remained shut until Wednesday for Lunar New Year holidays. Japan's Nikkei share average slipped 1.6% to 38,932.66 points right after stock markets opened in the morning. In South Korea, the benchmark Korea Composite Stock Price Index tumbled 3% to 2,441.94 points.
The Israeli military blew up several buildings in the occupied West Bank on Sunday in a series of simultaneous explosions that had leveled around 20 buildings in the Jenin refugee camp.
Thick clouds were seen rising from the Palestinian city where Israeli forces have been conducting a massive operation for nearly 2 weeks that the Israeli ministry says is targeted at local militants, including seizing weapons stockpiles. Asked about the simultaneous demolition of buildings in Jenin, a spokesperson for the military said several structures used as terrorist infrastructure had been dismantled. Jenin Government Hospital Director Wissam Bakar told the Palestinian State News Agency that part of the hospital was damaged in the explosions, but that there had been no casualties. Jenin is a crowded township built of descendants of Palestinians who were driven out or fled their homes in the 1948 war when the State of Israel was established. The refugee camp there has been a center of military activity for decades and the target of repeated raids by Israeli security forces. Israeli forces, backed by helicopters and armored bulldozers, began the assault on the city on January 21st, 2 days after Israel reached a ceasefire in Gaza with militant group Hamas. Hamas on Sunday called for an escalation in the resistance against Israel following the demolition of buildings in Jenin. The Palestinian Authority, a Hamas rival, exercises limited governance over the West Bank, where around 3 million Palestinians live and over which Israel maintains overall military control. Israeli forces have engaged in gun battles with local militants since the operation began. Defense Minister Israel Katz on Wednesday said security forces would stay until the operation is complete without saying when that would be. According to Palestinian authorities, at least 25 Palestinians have been killed since the Israeli military operation began, including 9 members of armed groups. The Israeli military says it has killed at least 35 militants and detained over 100 wanted individuals. Dozens of homes and roads have been destroyed by Israeli forces in the latest campaign.
U.S. President Donald Trump expresses that no troops would be necessary in Panama, but reiterated threats to take control of the Panama Canal and claims that it is being operated by Beijing.
Speaking to reporters on the tarmac of Joint Base Andrews, Trump reiterated his belief that China is running the Panama Canal, adding that the channel was not given to China but to Panama. He went on to say that Panama has violated the agreement, leading to his decision to take back the canal.
I don't think troops will be necessary in Panama. What Panama has done is terrible for national security for this part of the world. And, you know, 70% of the signage on the Panama Canal was written in Chinese. That's not right. So it wasn't meant for China. It should have never been made. The deal was a ridiculous deal. We lost 38,000 people building the Panama Canal, one of the great wonders of the world. 38, think of it, 38. It was the most expensive project ever built by this country, if you take it forward. The most expensive project ever built. We lost 38,000. And what happens? China owns it all of a sudden? It's not going to happen. We're not going to let that happen. We have national security concerns, and they wouldn't let it happen either.
The comments came as U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio on Sunday warned Panama's President Jose Raul Mulino that Washington will take measures necessary if Panama does not immediately take steps to end what President Donald Trump sees as China's influence and control over the Panama Canal. Mulino, after the talks with the top U.S. diplomat in Panama City, signaled he would review agreements involving China and Chinese businesses and announced further cooperation with the U.S. on migration, but reiterated that his country's sovereignty over the world's second busiest waterway is not up for discussion.
U.S. President Donald Trump, without citing evidence, says that certain classes of people in South Africa were being treated very badly and that he would cut off funding for the country until the matter is investigated.
Trump took to social media to express concerns about South Africa's actions, stating that the country is confiscating land and treating certain groups of people very poorly. He later spoke to reporters at Joint Andrews Base, saying the situation is being investigated.
Terrible things are happening in South Africa. The leadership is doing some terrible things, horrible things. So that's under investigation right now. We'll make a determination. And until such time as we find out what South Africa is doing, they're taking away land, they're confiscating land, and actually they're doing things that are perhaps far worse than that.
It remains unclear what prompted Trump's post. The South African embassy in Washington, D.C. did not respond to a request for comment outside of regular business hours. According to the most recent U.S. commentator from 2023, the United States was obligated to provide nearly $440 million in assistance to South Africa.
Boca Juniors claimed their first win of the Argentine Primera Division Apertura season with a 2-1 victory over Huracán at home on Sunday.
Boca Juniors secured their first win of the Argentina Primera Division's Apertura season with a 2-1 home victory over Huracán on Sunday, thanks to a Carlos Palacios strike. Coming off draws against Argentinos Juniors and Union, Boca put in a strong first-half performance, with Edinson Cavani opening the scoring in the 19th minute with a free kick from the center of the box. However, the visitors levelled on the half-hour mark when Marco Pellegrino's header found the back of the net, only for it to be awarded after a VAR review for alleged obstruction. In the second half, the hosts pushed to regain the lead, and it was Miguel who broke through to set up Palacios for the winner on 68th minute.
Arsenal delivers a statement of intent in the Premier League title race with a 2-1 hammering of champions Manchester City to close the gap at the top to 6 points on Sunday.
Captain Martin Odegaard fired Arsenal into a second-minute lead, and City were finished off ruthlessly after the break with teenagers Miles Lewis-Kelly and Ethan Nwaneri both on target for the rampant Gunners. Erling Haaland's 55th minute equalizer, his 250th senior career goal, had briefly raised City's hopes, but they could have no complaints as any lingering chance of winning a fifth successive title surely disappeared in the North London night.
We can learn, and always there are a margin to get better. So, of course, it's difficult, you know, when you lose 5-1, it's not defense, it's my feeling. I'm here expressing, but the game was well played. So Arsenal here is an amount of games. I know how many teams defend deep all the time during 90 minutes. And we were there, we dropped them a lot, and we have the composure to play. But yeah, it's difficult the second, but I think the third one, you know, it affect us, and we stopped to do what we have done during 60 minutes.
Arsenal are now 14 games unbeaten in the league and have 50 points from 24 games, with leaders Liverpool on 56 from 23.
Yeah, to beat them in the manner that we've done, a lot of things have to go your way. You know, we were very aggressive. We play with a lot of courage. We done without the ball, and our high press, where the limits are really, really thin. They scored a goal, should have scored another one. Clearly, and after one, even if you want it, they are that good that sometimes you just have to stay deep and defend deep and suffer and enjoy those moments as well. And we had a bit of luck in certain moments, and then we had the opportunity. I think we were, you know, our intentions, our aggression with the ball, how we wanted to hurt them, and the way we finished the actions, exceptional.
Manchester City are a distant fourth with 41 points.
A digital video mapping projection captivated audiences at Barcelona's Casa Batlló.
Italian artist Coiolo presented Arborescent, a digital tribute to nature's growth, blending technology with natural forms in an immersive experience that transformed the facade of architect Antoni Gaudi's iconic building into dynamic canvas. The experience was complemented by an original soundtrack composed by the artist himself.
This work is called Arborescent. It's really a celebration of how nature can be an infinite source of creative inspiration. And so it goes back to how Gaudí was inspired by nature, and somehow I've been trying to do a similar process by using very different technological apparatuses.
Coiolo used algorithm-driven light patterns that depicted various tree species growing and interacting with their environment. Casa Batlló's CEO Gary Gautier praised Coiolo's work for merging classical and modern elements, fitting with the building's intricate design, and said the goal is to bring art to everyone.
Well, the purpose of Casa Batlló is to make people happy through art. This initiative has the purpose of inviting all our citizens and visitors to embrace creativity and innovation as Gaudí had when he built this magnificent and iconic place.
The projection was part of the Heritage of Tomorrow program, an initiative that has invited interdisciplinary artists to reinterpret Gaudí's legacy since 2021. Hundreds of onlookers gathered in front of the building, refurbished by Gaudí in 1906, to enjoy the 12-minute show.
And that's all we have for this hour. Thank you for watching. Wish you all a very pleasant time ahead.